now there was another part of the Q&A that I thought was really interesting, and that has to do with Sony and PC. Because they were this whole Q&A. All right, first of all, this Q&A was basically just a press release. Let's be real.
Yeah, true.
There were so many times I was reading through it and I was like, I would have at least asked a follow-up question here on this. And they're just like, let's move on. All right, so they brought up the idea of PC, right? How does PC fit into the worldview of PlayStation Studios moving forward? And this is from Herman Holst. I want to emphasize that PlayStation will remain the best place to play our PlayStation Studio titles at launch. But we do value PC gamers, and we'll continue to look at the right times to launch each game. And they go on to talk about Days Gone and all of this. I think in 2 to 3 years, we're going to see a same-day release on PlayStation and PC.
What?
With one of their first-party games.
I disagree.
I think
crazy.
so. I think it's going to happen. And I think it's going to start with a live service game. So let's say they do Last of Us Factions. I think that's going to go to both PC and PlayStation same day.
You know, but that sucks because I know for a fact I'd buy it on PC over PlayStation in a heartbeat.
And they'll be like, I'll take your money. Thank you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You know how much money they made off of Days Gone? They made
Did they make it?
Well, it was on Horizon.
Horizon.
They made a 250% return on investment.
Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn. They made a lot of money on that's and they sold it at $50.
Yeah, that's why that's one of the biggest reasons they got such a return. And the live service game, they might launch Factions as a free game. It might just be a free-to-play thing. That might be what they do. Because they had that big slide up for investors to see, and they were like, we're going to do mobile gaming with the PlayStation brand, which means games like God of War and stuff will go to not the exact same ones, but they'll have their own versions of it. Maybe they do like a God of War gotcha game. I don't know. But like,
gotcha.
No, I can't believe casually mentioned that and just passed on.
They'll do that kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, I think they're looking at this PC side, and they're like, could the next Uncharted live service game that I bet you they're working on, a multiplayer Uncharted game or something, could that be a PC game that is day one?
Like, why are you saying this? And I mean this just because this seems so baffling. I never considered, like, I'm not butthurt. I promise I'm not butthurt. But what the fuck? My thing is it just because you think the gaming division isn't making enough, and this is their way to, if they launch it day and date? Because it seems like it would hurt PlayStation consoles a lot.
I think right now Jim Ryan is doing anything possible to figure out how they beat the software sales and the revenue of the PS4 over the next 5 years. I think he's realizing, wait a minute, PC gamers will overspend for some of our games.
True, well, and with mods and stuff, I feel like games sell longer on PC. PC games have a very long tail, and since it's all digital, like you don't have the used games getting resold and stuff. So yeah.
I think they're going to come up with their own PC launcher. I think you're going to have to sign into their own launcher. That way they don't have to give Steam 30%. And I think they'll tie in PlayStation Now with it as well. And that way they can figure out how to charge PC gamers a monthly fee for something.
This is so cute, though. This is exactly what I said that I figured that they would have to do once they start seeing Xbox do well. Yeah, they can bring their games over. Like, they need to have their own version of what Xbox has. I mean, it makes sense.
I think this is their strategy over the next, I'm going to say 5 years, but mostly running through this generation. They're slowly getting to the bottom. Why do you think, like, let me ask you this. Why is Uncharted 4 going to PC next? Why not the trilogy 1 through 3 that was already ported to PS4? Why not just do that?
I maybe they'll do that next. Maybe they're just doing things that are the most recent, so they just still have the raw code still laying around on hard drives.
I think they're testing a lot of this stuff to see how it goes, and then I feel like they're slowly going to work up to a day one release on PC.
Someone said Dreamcast guy's head is exploding. Yes, it is, just because I've never thought of this. I do think you're winning me over to it, and yes, I mean, honestly, it is free money. Like, why the hell not? Especially because, as people have said a couple of years ago in E3, people saw all the PlayStation booths. All the games are actually running on PCs anyways. So yeah, I mean, why not sell it on there? It's just, it's crazy to think about. I don't know. It's baffling to think about, but I mean, maybe you're right.
I kind of wonder, the reason I don't think they're running face first into it is because they're trying to figure out if it would affect their PlayStation console sales. Is what they're trying. But like, at this point, they can't keep them in stock anyways.
Yeah,
exactly. So they can't even gauge that right now. So they're kind of just like, well, we're making money on it. Let's move Uncharted now. Let's move Days Gone. Let's move Horizon. Let's see what happens. And they keep selling on PC. So
I guess
they're going to keep porting and they're going to keep overcharging because they just give Uncharted 4 away like it's water now, online. There's like, here you go, here's Uncharted 4, but they're going to charge PC gamers $40 or $50 for it.
It's strange to think that the games will objectively look and run and play better on PC. So it's weird to think about like there will be, because I mean PCs are just stronger. So it's gonna be weird to see like 8K God of War or whatever. Like, man, that's crazy.
I think the issue we have right now with that is Horizon still hasn't received a patch for PS5, and it blows my mind because on PC they're 120, 140 frames or whatever, but on PS5 they're stuck at 30 still. It's weird that they haven't gone back and fixed that because Insomniac went back and took care of Ratchet, made that 60 frames. But it's weird they're not doing it for things like Horizon. Days Gone looks pretty good, obviously on PlayStation 5 now, looks great on PC, but I'm trying to figure out what's after Uncharted because now we're starting to get to the point where they're getting closer and closer to some of these more recent releases.
It'll be Bloodborne.
Yeah. Oh, if it's Bloodborne, that's going to be amazing. I hope it's Bloodborne. Cool. That would be outstanding. But that'd be too cool, so they probably won't do it. They'll probably Knack 3. You know what? Give Knack 3. See if PC gamers will pay $50 for Knack 2. Let's see. Let's test
$50
this
you get Knack 1 and 2 combined.
I was gonna say give PC people Knack 3. Give it only to PC Knack as 3, some weird experiment.
Let's see how serious they are about this whole thing. Let's try it. So I mean at this point they have some of their first party stuff slated. I think it's going to be a live service game first. I think it might be a Factions or an Uncharted multiplayer game. That would be my guess. So we'll see what happens when those get announced. Any last thoughts on Jim Ryan and PlayStation cross-gen from anyone?
Jim Ryan.
Time will tell.
Click is like excited. Click's excited.
It's not a good look, but
what do you mean?
It's not a good look, but Sony always wins, so it doesn't matter.
Always wins.
Yeah, that's Sony water.
Sony always wins.
I'm not excited. I think I don't know. At this point, it's just time will tell, and I think people will look at the way people speak in interviews differently and kind of not take everything as the ultimate truth right away, and kind of see how the practices play out versus the actual words. Actions speak louder than words. I feel like
I'm excited for PC PlayStation games.
Oh yeah, no, I'm flat out like when we were talking about with Pass coming out, I was just like Sony's gonna see that this is awesome and they're gonna want their own, and that's kind of what's happening.
That's why I didn't get upset at Jim Ryan, because I was like, I already knew that they were gonna go back. And Sony's always done this. This is like a typical thing. So it's like
we gotta read between the lines. We gotta read between the lines now, Jim Ryan. All right, we gotta read things 4 times right now.
I even look at like the Herman Holst or whatever. I don't know. His interview, and what he says about Japan, and I'm like, okay, dude, like,
they have Team Asobi.
I just expect it. I already know, so it's like it's not that big of a deal.
I kind of think Team Asobi is going to try to build their own Mario Galaxy. Basically, now they're given that budget and they're like, do what you got to do. So
the problem is that they got rid of. He's like, oh, it's very important. It's this, but then they got rid of all the talent.
Right.
They didn't re-sign them. It's not like they didn't want to go. They would have been okay going into Team Asobi, but they didn't re-sign them. They said, nope, you guys can just bounce. So they let go of all that talent that made all those games. And we care about Japan. No, you don't. But it's okay. It's no big deal.
They'll keep Team Asobi because I think that's located. They're gonna have that big studio in Tokyo. But I feel like that's like their main. Maybe 2 or 3 games come out of there over the next 3 years. I don't know.
I hope
we'll
so.
See.
I like Astrobot. I think if they make Astrobot into more than just like
Astrobot should be like a big mascot for Sony.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like a big platform, like their own like Galaxy or whatever. Because it already has a bunch of mechanics that are like from like you see like in Sunshine or like you see in other Mario games. So they can just do more and put it not VR or make it VR and also make it regular. Because I know it began on VR or whatever. Yep. But yeah, I'd be down for that. I think Team Asobi's cool, but it's just like hopefully they do more than just. I just wish they didn't let go of all that talent. I think they could have made those games even better. There's stuff like in Gravity Rush that those guys could have really made something cool with Astrobot, right? If you had like the Gravity Rush guys around, or if you had some of the other dudes that have been around at their oldest first party studio, like it's like getting rid of the Mario team or something. Obviously, the Mario team makes more they sell more, but it's their oldest first party studio.
Yeah.
So it just kind of
you gotta establish that character. I think Astrobot could be a good character for him. You know, have Astrobot be around like the PlayStation logo at the beginning of some games and
that'd be so cute.
Sure, why
I
not?
thought Sackboy was gonna be that at one point.
Yeah,
I
know.
was so into Little Big Planet when I bought that day one. I thought Sackboy was gonna be like that dude, and then like he just like
there feels like there's something wrong with just a small creature made of burlap doing stuff versus an actual robot.
Astrobot looks cool and futuristic.
At the time, it was cool, right? Didn't you guys all think Little Big Planet was like? No,
I like Little Big Planet when it came out.
I thought it was amazing.
I did. Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Guess it was just me.